Welcome to this week's OK at Work with myself, Sarah Sawyer, and my colleague Russell Berger, both attorneys at Offit Kurman. And today we are talking about last chance agreements. So last chance agreements are often used when there's an employee who has engaged in the breaking of a policy or some type of unwanted behavior. When should employers consider using last chance agreements, Russell?
Yeah, I mean, I think last chance agreements in a more formal sense come out of, the labor unionized workplaces where, it's an agreement as to how we're going to go forward. Because, oftentimes in unionized workplaces, there are point systems, there's things that can lead to termination, and it's kind of a stopgap, like that. If you get one more strike, you're out of here type of formal arrangement in that context. But obviously, most workplaces are not unionized. So but last chance agreements can be used there as well. And I find they are, really useful when, you're ready to terminate someone, but you're not quite documented maybe as well as you should be, or you want to give the employee one last chance. And you say something to the effect of, you know, we would terminate you now for these reasons and spell out the reasons, but for the belief that we think you can improve your performance, and we're giving you one last chance. We're giving you one final shot at getting this right. If you don't get it right, though, you shouldn't be surprised. We're going to move forward with a termination.
Yeah, it's not something you necessarily, have to provide. Obviously, if there's, if the employee is at will, and it's something that, can be used in just another circumstance I see it in a lot is if someone's engaged in some type of alcohol use at work, drug use, something like that, and they're going to be seeking treatment, and they're going to be, and the employer wants to say like, hey, we want to support you in that. We're glad that you're seeking treatment. We're not really ready to part ways, but here's what we need you to do. And, to really lay out very clearly, what the expectation is, maintaining the ability to terminate the employee. But instead of something like, folks might wonder, well, what's the difference between this and like a performance improvement plan, for instance? Well, in an instance like I'm describing where someone's maybe got an alcohol issue or a drug issue or something, and their employer wants to keep them and they're going to seek treatment, it's a performance related issue, but it's a little bit different than like, hey, you're not doing your job well and we need to see you improve these skills or do these things better. It can be a little bit different, and the use can be a little bit different than like a performance improvement plan.
Right. And even if it is a more traditional performance issue, in theory, you've already been managing it. And, it's basically the equivalent of saying, like, I've had it up to here. I can't take anymore. If you don't get this right now, we're going to move on. And it's a good way to be clear about it. And to your point, it's certainly not a requirement. And it's something that's not, most of the time it's not used. It's not a mandatory step or even all that frequent of a step in performance management or progressive discipline. But it's a step that, there are right times for it. And like I said, sometimes it's, this termination could have some risk on it. And we want to make sure that we're really buttoned up and we've done everything right. So we want to give this person, one last chance and spell it all out, so that we're beyond reproach if we get a claim against us. So, sometimes it's done for those defensive purposes too.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that it does, it does give that seriousness to the issue. And really, a lot of times there is tight timelines on it as opposed to maybe a performance improvement plan, which is like 60, 90 days, couple of months of trying to improve skill sets and different, because there might be a lot of things that you want the employee to do and you want to give them time to do that. The last chance is can definitely be more direct and more just simplified, and in a shorter truncated time period for sure. Well, thanks, Russell, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Sarah.